Hogan in A10 in the United States is now going to enter the war. But before we get into entering the war, we'll do a little review, and we'll look at like two different speeches, I think, with Wilson, like when the United States was not involved in the war, when they wanted to be neutral, and then we'll pull an excerpt from his declaration of war to Congress, and we'll kind of like compare and contrast there.
Yeah, because as historians, like the best thing we can do is analyze primary sources.
Yep.
We could tell you all about history, but the best way is to just dig.
Yeah,
deep
exactly. I
into
mean,
it.
that's where it's at, really. So
As a great woman once said,
great woman.
go an inch wide
And a mile
deep.
Yeah, exactly. So when we get to going back to some primary sources and taking a look back and just a quick review, there is this unrestricted submarine warfare taking place in the Pacific. The United States has
Atlantic.
to worry about ship. What?
Atlantic.
Did I say
You said
Pacific?
Pacific.
Come on, work already in the Atlantic. So we have ships going across the Atlantic, supplying munitions and wartime goods to both sides. Again, we come back to the Lusitania that was probably smuggling in weapons. And then, of course, we also look at something else that's pushing us closer to war, where Germany's trying to make that sort of secret agreement with Mexico. Hey, you invade the United States from the south, we'll come in and you'll get back land that you lost after the Mexican-American War. And again, England intercepted that telegram, shows the United States, because there was a stalemate and they needed the United States to enter into this war to kind of turn the tides. Which is going to bring us to our first document that I'm clearly going to need my eyes for, because I don't know the difference between the Atlantic and the Pacific. So this is in 1914 when he's giving this speech.
So context.
Yeah.
It's before the Lusitania.
Yep.
It's before the Zimmerman plot, the Zimmerman telegram. So if we go back, we're still 1914, our trade with those allied nations, or the nations at war, England, France, and Germany, was still relatively fair.
Everything's kind of fresh.
Everything's kind of fair.
So the people of the United States are drawn from many nations, and chiefly from the nations now at war. It is natural and inevitable that some will wish one nation, others another, to succeed in the momentous struggle. Such divisions among us would be fatal to our peace of mind and might seriously stand in the way of our duty as the one great nation at peace, the one nation ready to play a part of mediator and counselor of peace. The United States must be neutral in fact as well as in name during these days that are to try men's souls. We must be impartial in thought as well as action. I know as a 7th grade teacher, I know that definitely caught your attention.
Yeah.
I caught it in the corner of my eye.
The great Thomas Paine, the crisis. These are the times that try men's souls.
And that's something that great speechwriters
Summer
and presidents
Patriot,
do. They'll pull something from the past to kind of, make you, make you think about the severity of the situation. But what pops out at you with this speech?
Well, first of all, it's the acknowledgement that we are a melting pot.
Yeah.
That, again, putting this into context, the waves of immigrants coming over through Ellis Island over the last dozens of years.
Yeah, the people of the U.S. are drawn from many nations.
That we are English and French and German and Italian and Russian and Hungarian, and we are a nation of immigrants. And he's kind of like, because of that, the German immigrants are going to want to see Germany victorious, the English. So he's kind of acknowledging that America is being torn in many different directions.
People are going to want to take sides.
Yeah.
Naturally, where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
I equate this to almost like watching the Olympics or the World Cup or any huge kind of sporting event where a lot of nations are a part of it. If I'm watching a particular sport, when you're talking, it's on an international stage. My first team is going to be the United States of America.
Yeah.
And then when they're eliminated for something, I need a second team. So I either go for Ireland or I go for Germany. And why there's a familiar family connection to those particular areas.
Yep.
So something else when it comes to that fact that we're a nation of immigrants and we come from different areas, he doesn't want us to actually take sides.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to take
He's
sides.
like, that if we do become divided, our peace of mind at home will be fractured. And we'll be fighting amongst ourselves. Not to a point of a civil war.
Right.
But he said it's best for us to remain neutral. not just in name, but in action as well.
And that's one of those things where it's going to be difficult for Americans to do because you're gonna still probably have family that are actually still over there.
Yeah, and when Wilson campaigns for his re-election, he runs on this.
Yeah.
I kept us out of war.
I kept us out of the war.
Yeah.
And then he gets elected, and what happens?
Yeah.
We're going to go to war. So does Wilson think the United States should enter the war? Nope.
Stay
Why?
out.
Again, I think we addressed the whole, let's be impartial, let's be neutral. So, moving along now. Now we have April 2nd.
Same person.
17. Same person.
Same person, almost 3 years to the day after.
Yep.
A lot has changed. Lusitania has been sanketh,
Sunk.
whatever.
Zimmerman telegram.
Zimmerman telegram has been sent and intercepted and deciphered. So there's a lot that's been and we've also been trading less and less with Germany.
And of course, England shows us that intercepted telegram, and it's at a stalemate. This is deadlock. There's no clear winner. There's no clear loser. Let's get the U.S. in, and let's hopefully that'll help us to win the war. So here's his speech to Congress. Property can be paid for. The lives of peaceful and innocent people cannot be. The present German submarine warfare against commerce is a warfare against mankind. The German policy has swept every restriction aside. Ships of every kind, whatever their flag, their character, their cargo, their destination, their errand, have been ruthlessly sent to the bottom of the ocean without warning. American ships have been sunk, American lives taken.
I feel like there's a little bit of foreshadowing going on there.
What are you thinking there? Anything else? I'm just trying to not stumble on myself. You're
Yeah.
actually doing the thinking.
Yeah,
So go
I
ahead.
mean, it's kind of like people are losing their lives, and we're kind of putting blame on one particular nation here.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit more foreshadowing for when the war ends and somebody being blamed, and that now American lives are being taken. So it's a definite change of tone from his previous speech 3 years ago.
And again, if you're stuck trying to analyze this, commerce, of course, meaning trade, and we have some, cargo and other things to kind of support
Being
that.
sent to the ocean, at bottom of the ocean without warning, that's that unrestricted submarine warfare.
Not surfacing and giving them a warning to let those,
Yep.
those people get into the lifeboats and get off. All right, good. Whew, thank you for stopping me. I needed a break. All right, I advise that the Congress declare the recent actions of the Imperial German government to be, in fact, nothing less than war against the government and people of the United States. Neutrality, something circling back to the other one. Neutrality is no longer feasible or desirable where the peace of the world is involved. The world must be made safe for democracy. We have no selfish ends to serve. We desire I lost my place.
Conquest.
We desire no conquest, no dominion. We seek not material compensation for the sacrifices we shall freely make. Oh, there we go. We are but one of the champions of the rights of mankind. It is a fearful but right thing to lead this great peaceful people to war. We shall fight for the things which we have always carried nearest our hearts, for democracy, for the right of people to have a voice in their own government, for the rights and liberties of small nations. Whew. Neutrality is no longer feasible.
Yeah, and it's this first part of the sentence.
Yeah.
I advise that Congress declare.
Because you have to remember now they
Nothing
have to vote on this.
That this isn't the president, back to seventh grade checks and balances.
Sure.
The president might be commander-in-chief of our armed forces, but only Congress has the power to declare war. So here Woodrow Wilson is going before Congress, giving the speech basically saying, I need you now to act. I need you to declare war on Germany. Why? So we can make the world safe for democracy.
And when he wrote this speech, this was something emotionally he had a difficult time with. Winds up really crying uncontrollably after this. One particular book, I'm looking for different sources to corroborate this, but one book that was written by one of my favorite authors, Eli Asinoff, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but he wrote 8 Men Out, and it was in 1919. And right around the time that we're going to be organizing the peace. And one of the parts of the book he said was that this was something that he did in a private area. He typed this up while eating crackers with milk. So the crying uncontrollably after the speech, that caught my eye. I'm like, all right, well, you have a commander-in-chief that knows he's going to send people into harm's way.
Yeah.
But then I went back and I'm like, crackers with milk? That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I like researching weird stuff. Crackers and milk, were they Ritz?
Yeah,
They,
hopefully, because if they were saltine, that would just be gross.
I mean, come on, what goes with milk? Oreos or Chips Ahoy? You know, that's one of those things I got fixated on.
Yeah.
Again, I have to double check this. I got to make sure my mind was, but that's something that popped out at me.
1 second, but just going
Yeah.
back, like, and I like that he's saying that we're not getting involved because we want land.
Yeah.
You know, our imperialism is over.
Right.
We've acquired the lands we want. He's saying we're getting involved to make the world safe
For democracy.
for democracy.
For those countries that want it. Anything else we need to add with this one?
No.
That's pretty good. So, I mean, quite a bit of a change. Does Wilson think the United States should enter war now?
Yep.
Yep, without a doubt. So he runs on, the whole, he kept us out of war, he gets reelected, and guess what?
We're in war.
Yep. And, look right here, when you're looking at questions that usually come up on tests, why did we get involved? That unrestricted submarine warfare comes up as well. That Zimmerman telegram, you could definitely say he's in the background and part of it, but even if you're looking at this cartoon, American sunk without warning. Come on, coffee, work. American ship sunk without warning. American lives lost, and that's something even that kind of connects
here,
to
yeah.
what he was making, what he was saying in the speech. So now, April 2nd, 1917, goes before Congress to ask for a declaration of war. Kind of some reasons that unrestricted submarine warfare, Zimmerman telegram, and now it's on like Donkey Kong.
Now we got to get fighting.
Now we have to fight. He calls for a stronger Navy, new army of 500,000 men, and now we're going to look at just how unprepared we were for this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you for watching.